So a whole food approach is always my way of leaning. So yes, eat more whole foods. And if you want to make massive change in a short amount of time in your body and in your health, add some supplements in. You're listening to Turn Your Soul On Radio. I am your host and visionary doctor, Dr. Brandy Victory, and my mission is to assist high-achieving women in closing the gap between feeling unfulfilled to living a life on fire. It is time, ladies, to champion our own lives and turn ourselves on. This is Living Victoriously, ladies. This is how you turn your soul on. Hey, soul sisters. I am so happy to be with you here today. I hope you're having a fantastic, sparkly day. I know I am. I just got back from a day of patients in my office, and I had a new patient walk in the door as a consult. She really wanted to learn a little bit about my practice and how I may be able to help her. And she's actually got this very rare disease, and it was just cool because I just had this feeling rise up inside of me that was just this huge yes. And sometimes in the past when people have come to me with significant diseases like specifically cancer and things like that, I have commonly referred them out because I don't get that feeling inside my body. And so I was just like, wow, this feels so good. This makes me know that she's right for my practice. This helps me know that I'll be able to help this woman. And I love that feeling, and I love following that feeling, and when it's not right, it's just not right. You know what I mean? And sometimes I think for us women, it's just so easy to do what we think we're supposed to be doing rather than following that big fat yes inside of us. And so I'm just inviting you to check in on yourself throughout the days and the weeks and the months and just see, ask yourself, is what I'm doing following my yes? Is what I'm doing following my yes? And on that, I want to talk a little bit about food versus vitamins. So I have people commonly ask me well, I would rather eat food than take supplements. Or supplements are funky. I heard that just the other day. I was like, what's funky about supplements? I have to get clarity on this, okay? Because I know what it is there's just a lack of understanding. So I just want to share this little conversation with you so you can get a better handle on why you may or may not want to supplement and or rather eat foods or take vitamins and that kind of thing. Now, in the past, I have talked about quality, so I'm going to kind of bypass that part of the conversation because bottom line is get high quality products, do not buy them from a third-party seller, and it's in your highest interest to work with a practitioner who can prescribe you supplements based on your physiology, so they're very specific for you, okay? But before we get into that, just pause for a second if you would, and if you would just share this episode with your friends. We just need to get the word out, and I just really appreciate you supporting me in this venture of sharing nutrition and well-being with the people in your lives. Amen. Thank you so much. And if you can find another minute or two, please rate and review the show. This allows us to reach more and more people. And so thank you. And I would just want to say thank you to our sponsor, Purium Superfoods. They are the sponsor of the 10-day group transformation program that I'm going to be hosting May 5th. So excited. It's going to be so much fun. I've done this over and over and over again. And all the women that join in on this thing, every single one of them has movement that is substantially awakening and enlightening. They learn to love their bodies. They learn how to relate to food in a better way. They learn how to allow themselves to move into a greater state of grace and well-being. So it's a fun time. You should join us. You're going to get a full 10-day transformation kit, so you don't really even have to buy much food or cook much food because you're going to have all your super high vibrational organic superfood foods delivered to you in your kit. And we're going to be meeting every single day for almost every single day, but for sure 10 different times we will be meeting virtually over a 12-day period. where I'm going to be giving you direction and taking you through a guided meditation and helping you modify your program as you go. So it's very individualized for each person in the group. And you'll be getting sensuality exercises and things like that to really turn yourself on a day-to-day basis. And when you are cleansing yourself of toxins and stuff that's like stuck in your body and making you stagnant, when you start releasing that stuff and you start putting that together with sensuality exercises, thank you. When you start putting that stuff together, like the senses are so heightened in that state and it feels so freaking good. And yes, you will be turned on, and yes, your life will be amazing, and yes, you will be able to continue that past the 10 days because I am going to share with you how to do that. And on that note, you can go to just go to my website and click on Activate. That's drbrandyvictory.com. Click on Activate and you'll see a drop-down menu for the 10-day transformation program. Just click on that. You can learn a little bit more about it. You can also connect with me on there, and there's a little button. You just hit Connect with Me, and I will reach out to you, or my team will reach out to you, and we'll get you the information you need and or get you registered. So on with the show. So yes, and today we are talking about food versus vitamins. And again, I know I get wanting to eat food as opposed to taking supplementation to get your nutrition. I totally get that. And I would say do that if I felt it were going to get you to where you wanted to go. So most people are coming to me for one or two reasons. One, because they have a problem and they want to get well. Or they come to me because they want to enhance their wellness. They want to step it up a notch because they feel like they are maybe getting a little bit older, or things are changing in their body and they're not feeling like they're on top of their game 100%, but they don't necessarily have anything wrong with them. They just want to feel better. So I would say I'm in this category, and most of my patients are actually. And these people definitely, they want to eat whole foods and eat food as opposed to taking supplementation. However, my wellness people, the people who have something wrong with them and they want to get well, they're the ones that kind of push back on the supplementation piece for some reason. I don't get it. The people who are already well and want to take it up a notch, they don't mind taking supplements because they've already gotten themselves in the mindset of, well, I'm doing everything I can, and if there's anything that will get me up a notch in my wellness, get me up a notch in how I feel in my body and my ability to perform and have energy, then I'm willing to do that. So there's two different mindsets going there, and I just invite you in whichever group that you happen to be in, just kind of start to wrap your head around what I'm about to tell you. Okay, if I could tell all of my patients, just eat more salads and you'll be fine, I would totally do that. But here's the problem. Our food supply is deficient in minerals and nutrients, okay? So if you tested the levels of iron and vitamin C and different things like that in the 1950s, it's going to be way different. There's higher levels of nutrients in the foods back then than there are now because of the way that we're farming. The soils are depleted, so the plants that are grown are depleted. Now, of course, if you're growing biodynamic and organic in your backyard, we can't touch that, okay? We can't touch that. But still, even then, if you're looking to up your game in your wellness, I bet you there's things that you're not growing that you need to make that leap happen. And you can find those things in food. But here's the thing. And let's say I have a lot of patients who have a gallbladder and liver stuff. We always want to support the gallbladder and liver. So there's a particular product, a supplement that I give my patients, and it's a whole food supplement called Beta Food. And this is Beta Food is beets and beet greens. It's organic beets and beet greens. That's all it is, beets and beet greens. There's nothing else in it. However, for you to get enough beets and beet greens in your diet in the form of food, like if you're going to sit down and eat beets and beet greens, you can never get enough to compensate for what I'm going to give you in a concentrated tablet. So the beets and the beet greens are actually cold processed, and they're dried and broken down. All the water is taken out of them, and then they're pressed into little tablets. So the cold processing maintains all the enzymes and all the bionutrients that are there, whereas in other processing of other types of supplements and stuff like this, they tend to use heat and they tend to use chemicals, and the heat and the chemicals actually break down the nutrients and the enzymes and everything that's in the food. So it becomes it doesn't really do that much, all right? But the products that I use are from very specialized companies that take these kinds of things into account. So just on a side note, the beta food can also be used with those of you who want to get more power out of your workout. So some people are drinking this beet juice before their workout, and you can actually take the beta food before your workout, and you're supporting your gallbladder and your liver, because it's not just beets, it's beets and beet greens, and this facilitates the detoxification pathways of those organ system. So you're getting to double your money there if you're using it for your workouts, and it just boosts your nitric oxide. So you're going to get a big burst in your workout. So there's food, which we talked about not being grown in really great soil, so it's depleted, and then there's vitamins and or supplementation. So there's a difference in vitamins and supplementation. So vitamins are traditionally what you find in your grocery store that are like the women's one a day, or the Centrum, or those kinds of quote unquote multivitamins. Okay, and multivitamins are essentially made in a lab by a scientist for just putting together molecules that mimic nature. They're not nature, they mimic nature. So, and this is the reason why people are like, well, I would rather eat food than take supplements, because they want it straight from nature. But the disconnect is between what the difference is in vitamins and whole food supplementation. This is where the disconnect is, because people just think all vitamins are vitamins. They don't realize that there are some product lines that are whole food supplementation, okay? So the difference is a vitamin C in America is known is what we know as vitamin C is called ascorbic acid, and ascorbic acid is one molecule of the vitamin C complex. Ascorbic acid is not found in nature. Ascorbic acid is put into multivitamins, but it's not the whole vitamin C complex. So if you really want to take vitamin C, you got to take the vitamin C complex. You got to take the whole food that has all the phytonutrients in it way beyond the ascorbic acid. So ascorbic acid will not cure scurvy, and scurvy is the deficiency syndrome of a vitamin C deficiency. So if you have scurvy, which is bleeding gums, loose teeth, you'll have like black and blue spots, bruise easily, your vascular system breaks down easy, so maybe spider veins and varicose veins and things like that can all be related to scurvy, because the connective tissue just starts to break down. And vitamin C as ascorbic acid will not resolve that problem, okay? You need the whole vitamin C complex. So there's things that I give my patients to do that. You can obviously eat foods with vitamin C in it, the whole vitamin C complex in it. We would be orange juice or oranges, and citrus foods, and even like a really high vitamin C food that most people don't think about are adrenals. So if you can get the adrenals from your cow or your pig or whatever you're eating, those are very high in vitamin C. And, this is how you feed your body, but you're never going to sit down and eat enough adrenals or enough vitamin or oranges to get enough vitamin C to cure scurvy. I mean, maybe over a long period of time, but it's going to take a lot for you to do that. And for me, I would prefer to get it done as fast as possible. So I'm going to take vitamin C, whole food vitamin C supplement. Now, is there a time and place for isolates? Absolutely. I just got a micronutrient and cardiometabolic lab test back on one of my patients, and I was looking at it and came and realized like the micronutrient test tells us what nutrients are deficient in the body, and it's not just simply, oh, you're missing B12 in the blood. This is a very specialized test where they're taking your blood and then they take the white blood cells, the lymphocytes, out of your blood. They put them in a petri dish and grow them for 3 weeks and then open those cells up to see what's in them, what's been utilized, and what's deficient. So it's actually what's being absorbed and utilized in the body and what your body needs rather than just, oh, this is what's in your blood. Like those are two totally different tests. And I got this test back on my patient who has had severe fatigue. She's been under a significant amount of stress. She has immune dysfunction. She can't get herself together. She's having a very hard time right now. And so we ran these tests, and I found out after I looked at it that she is deficient in serine, which is an amino acid, which is important for her neurotransmitters. So if she's not making appropriate neurotransmitters, she's not going to have the energy that she wants. And so I will absolutely use an isolated serine amino acid to help boost her for a short amount of time. I'm going to give this to her for just enough time to get that to boost up. At the same time, I'm going to be repairing her gut because her gut is responsible for producing neurotransmitters, and she's always complaining about bloating and things like that. I give her a few things and she doesn't stick to the program. So we're going to have a really strong heart-to-heart tomorrow about her commitment level to the process. Now that she's spent money on doing these labs, it's in her best interest to really commit to making this a lifestyle for herself, okay? So, a lot of people are just like, well, I'll just take my one a day or my Centrum and call it good. Or maybe you're going to GNC and thinking you're getting a high-quality vitamin complex, and it's still isolated nutrients. It's not whole food supplementation. They may have a whole food supplementation product there, but it's certainly not a practitioner prescribed line. And I haven't really ever considered GNC to be of the highest quality when we were looking at the ability to get the highest products for your body and the highest supplementation for your body. So a whole food approach is always my way of leaning. So yes, eat more whole foods. And if you want to make massive change in a short amount of time in your body and in your health, add some supplements in. Even if you're wanting to get from a state of sickness to a state of wellness, you're gonna definitely see some results if you're using high quality whole food supplementation. These are whole food supplementation are supplements that are made with whole foods. These are not isolates. These are two totally different things. And there may be also a time for you to do an isolate. I will prescribe an isolate in a time of need, but they're going to be for a very short period of time. Whole food supplementation, you can't really you can't overdose on whole foods, so you can't eat too many greens. I guess you could, but it's going to be freaking difficult to do that. You can definitely overdose on too much isolated minerals or isolated vitamins, especially if they're made with coal tar and formaldehyde and different things like this, because regardless if it's a small amount or not, you're still putting it in your body and it's causing a reaction. Like that's just what happens when we put trash in our body. So don't put trash in your body. Another consideration is for those that are looking to get pregnant. So I just read something that was the first 16 days of pregnancy are the most important nutritional days for the baby. And most people don't even know that they're pregnant before 16 days. So if you're planning on getting pregnant or you think you might get pregnant, you should highly consider getting on a nutritional protocol for yourself and for your baby and for your family now before the time comes, so you can prep your body, so you can get your body in a state of its best health before having that baby, okay? If you're pregnant or you're looking to become pregnant, you're going to need things like folic acid. This reduces the risk of spina bifida and neural tube defects. Like that's a very important thing to have, okay? There's a whole host of other supplements that I recommend for my pregnant women. But, if you have any other disorder, let's just say you're celiac, and obviously celiacs avoid gluten, and they have to, but they also need to intake and fortify their intake of iron and magnesium and zinc and vitamin D and vitamin B and their B vitamins and iron and different things like that, because a lot of those vitamin minerals found in whole grains are not being taken in. But again, for someone with some kind of issue like this, I would want to see a micronutrient test so I could see exactly what's missing in the body, and we just supply what's missing, because maybe you're getting your B vitamins from somewhere else and you don't necessarily need a B vitamin. So, all in all, it's really about learning about your own body and seeing what's very specifically your body needs and creating a personalized approach to your own health care. So yes, eat more whole foods and take whole food supplementation, all right? Regardless if you have a chronic condition, if you're ill, or if you just want to take it to the next level so that you're performing at your top optimum best, because that's what we like to do around here, then yeah, that's it. That's your story. Eat more whole foods, get off the processed food, and take whole food supplementation. And then have a practitioner. If you want to just take it to the whole nother level, have a practitioner evaluate your body through lab work and determine exactly what you need for yourself, so you'll know which foods to be eating more of and what's to stay away from. So anyway, I hope that was helpful and clarifying for you. Again, I would love it if you wanted to join us for the 10-day group transformation. It's starting May 5th. The registration does close April 26th because I've got to make sure I get your kit to you. So definitely reach out to us. Head on over to my website, drbrandyvictory.com, click on Activate, and then you'll see the drop-down box 10-day transformation program, and we hope to see you there. Thank you for tuning in to another awesome episode of Turn Your Soul On Radio. If you're enjoying the show and it's making a difference in your life, I'd be super grateful if you'd head on over to iTunes and leave a heartfelt review, which tremendously helps the growth of the show. Feel free to leave any suggestions or questions in your review, or you can shoot us an email at admin@drbrandyvictory.com. I also would like to invite you to become a deeper part of the Turn Your Soul On Radio community, which you can do by joining our private Facebook group, Turn Your Soul On. I'll leave a link in the show notes for you. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a fantastic day.
This podcast is for information purposes only. Dr. Brandy Victory is not a medical doctor, and the views and statements expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Dr. Brandy Victory and the producers, disclaim responsibility from any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.